There's a few in there that
they're off.
Raced against in the past. So Scott Searles from the USA, Mats Blackley from Great Britain, Anders Anderson, Norway, Giuseppe Fuso from Italy, Omar Linares from Argentina, Alan Bouliard from Canada, Malcolm Banks from Ireland, Vadim Batenko, Karsten Pankoki, Tony Benchop, Rolf Nicolaisen, Tony Nerstrand, Lars Skitt, Ola Pedersen, Bjorn Fossestål, Tommy Karls, Jørke Olsen, Elvind Sorley per Hall, John Young, and it's Spain at the front again. Two main packs here. Far side being led, I think that's Tommy Karls. I had many a race against Tommy Karls, proper hard man from Sweden. Tommy Karls, Tony Benchop, both in this, both raced at world level. And two distinct groups. Spain leading the group closest to us, Sweden leading the group furthest away. Statistically, you're far more likely to be at the front of this race if the bow of your boat is green.
Back that up with some science, Lola.
So still, that's an extraordinary formation. That's people there who've got to the stage where their stability isn't giving them enough confidence to join forces and go to the main group. They're praying that somebody will give up and the group will settle with them at the front. There's stability issues there somewhere along the line. But it opens it up. Boats like the yellow boat at the back, there's a massive wave. He needs to be on it, mind, but there's massive waves back there when those groups are like that. Now it comes together. Tommy Karls coming across to the Spaniard. Nicely organised, a little bit of jitteriness at the back of that group. You can see just they would have dealt with that better in their younger days, I'm sure. Just that little nervousness in the white boat as it comes out to the right.
As a woman prepare to get underway, just a reminder, if you are a medal winner from the second session, races 11 to 17, you need to be on standby now. You need to present yourself right now at the white tent behind the portage area so that you can be escorted into your medal ceremonies. Those are going to start after the women's K1 race has got underway.
So a new leader now in the black boat as they just go out of shot. I do apologise for not being able to read their numbers on screen. We'll give you name checks as soon as we can. But there's the rest of the field, somewhat spread out already for some, but the front of that race is extremely tightly packed and everything.
Johan Dahl of Sweden coming past Tommy Karls. Clearly not happy with the pace, wants to try and join the group and bridge forward.
So just three at the front. The over 64s, over 60s rather, and see what their deal was in that relationship. Tommy Nerstrand going through in sight there with the pink end on his boats. 6:44, Per Steen from Sweden.
Ladies and The silver medal from Australia, Brett Greenwood. And the gold medal and the world champion from Norway, Johan Brekke. Too shallow, dude. Love your rudder. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the medalists for the men C1 35 to 39. Once again, presenting the medals is Senior Henningsen from the hosting organization. The bronze medal from Croatia, Tomislav Juric.
I think they're in the, maybe for Sunday, the junior boys event, the under 18s.
In movie parlance, that's a forthcoming attraction. So, into the portage.
The thing with this portage is it is massive. There's absolutely no restriction on the numbers getting in there. It doesn't matter how big the group is, you could get an entire group out on that pontoon.
It's also very solid, so you can get out at any point and hit the road running immediately. It's not as if it wobbles or it's uncertain or it's slippery or.
Yeah. The only slight catch on it, where it's made in sections, as the sections join, there's quite a high lip on each one. So it's quite uncomfortable on bare feet going. Argentina +1 in that group. And getting in the water here, we've got Spain in the green-ended boat. Not sure who else. Harbour the light on the boats. Very difficult to see who's who.
Coming into the portage, according to Lawler Ivan, who knows things, it's the green-nosed boats that are leading the four-boat bunch.
I think the green boats have had their day out there, Dave. They look strong early on, but those green boats get really tired.
Tommy Benschop of the Netherlands leading this group through the portage. Anders Andersen just behind him.
Tony, a medalist at the very first World Championships back in 1988 in Nottingham. Was he? Yeah, I think he was. I might be talking out of turn there. He's been at the sharp end of World Marathon for a long time.
And suddenly this group of four is looking split.
Tony away. Tommy Carl's at the back of that group. Also very familiar face in the early days of World Championship marathon racing. It only started back in '88. Back then it was a World Championship every 2 years. Now it's every year. Plus you have the short course, long course. There's so many more opportunities now to make the most of your marathon racing career. It just gets better and better every year.
Sverre Petlund in the yellow K1 taking out first in this group. From Norway. As you look at this aerial shot from the drone, in the background, top left, you'll see the big marquee which is hosting the Street Food Festival. I'm sure you've had time to stick your neck in there and go and have a look at some of the Danish street food that's on offer today. Crowd pleasers, all of them, including the sweet pancakes. It has been alleged.
I haven't even had time to go to the street food, but a sweet pancake could lure me in. While we're watching the portage, I can see from the commentary, you can't see it on screen, so apologies for telling you something you can't see, but Tommy Carls has pulled out of the race. He's just turned right and gone into the competitors area. So Tommy Carls from Sweden out of this one. So what was a group of four that he was in is now a group of three.
There's always a key stage, Ivan, when a group of 3, 4, 5 comes into a portage. Somebody has clear dominance on the run, is able to put in first and get away by 5, 10 meters. Early on in the race, it would be crazy to try and take off on your own. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But psychologically, you have an opportunity to make your mark on that group by sitting there and just imposing your authority, looking back over your shoulders, putting your paddles down to say, come on, boys, where are you? Just, I'm in charge here. But
there's so many things go through your brain, and I think that depends on your personality. You've got someone at the moment like Mads Pedersen, who, if he makes that 5 or 10 lengths, or 5 or
it's an interesting planning process that goes on in most of these major federations. There is time for some juice and put the paddles down under no pressure to stay on the wave. But so many of the major federations, when a date or a venue is announced for a world championships, a marathon worlds, the first question is, right, where are we racing? What does the lake look like? Crucially, what is the portage going to look like? Are we dealing with beach in, beach out? Are we dealing jetty in, jetty out? Are we dealing with what sort of jetty? And sometimes it's a new venue that doesn't have a jetty built, so you don't know. But the minute the word is out, then the training starts in earnest. A lot of the countries will actually set up their nationals to almost try and replicate that, stage it at a venue where you've got a bank or beach or jetty to try and replicate it as closely as possible to make sure that you choose the best team suited for the world's venue.
That's a very sensible way of going about it. If you've got those options, you would use them, I'm sure. And logically. So our next female into the pontoon is going to be Australia's Laura Lee. She's coming around the bottom turn and into the portage. While leaving at this side, we've got a couple of the men's 6.22 there is Mark Blatchley from Great Britain, just dragging his rudder on the ground a little bit there, but he's away now and clear. And into the portage, Tony Benchcop and his group. I think Tony might be disappointed in his day today. I think he was hoping to be up the sharp end of this one.
Oh, big, strong run through the middle. This is like WWF, just shoulder to shoulder. Coming through, toot, toot.
I mean, if you're going to take on anyone on the run, you don't take on someone with the length of leg that Tony has.
Tony Benchcop.
Only taking one stride every now and then, but each stride covers meters of ground.
2 for your average human being.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can make it count. Pretty athletic and youthful put in, it must be said.
Yeah, all three pretty good there.
Having started the discussion about how to fit your boat and talking about rudders, the other piece of equipment which comes up so often, pumps.
Oh, don't.
Pumps, 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 my word. Especially if you're racing in conditions like this where the wind is going to come up without any warning and you're suddenly likely to start shipping water. You've got to have, I mean, talk to me about pumps. Well, where's your head on pumps?
Pumps are like an endless source of frustration because you fit them, you test them, they work all day, every day, until you come here. And then your boat fills up with water, and on race day, a pump will never, ever work. It's just it's built into the process of making them, where they fail you at the very point you need them the most. And they're the most frustrating item of equipment. Even when you're putting it in, you think, it'll never work at the right time. So, but you put them in anyway.
Do I put that extra bit of weight into the boat knowing that the damn thing isn't going to work?
It's
that moment when you look at the pump outlet while you're busy shoveling away against the pump and there's nothing coming out.
Nothing comes out. We've all been there. Everyone in this race has been there. The pump doesn't work. Either that or it comes off the outlet tube and you start pumping cold water over the top of your own feet inside the boat, and that's a killer. So 4 more out for their portage. Well, 3.5. Now the 4th one's out. Round the corner. Not many coming through the drinks lane on these races. They're quite short races relatively in terms of time.
There's Giuseppe Canoe at the front. Very gentlemanly portage, it must be said. Just looking at them getting in, Ivan, you were envying somebody with long legs to be able to lope through a portage and clearly get an advantage. You pay for it when you're trying to get in. The short-legged human is much better
Gets
at
better
getting into the boat
boat.
quickly.
So that group of 4 arrived together, left together, no change there. A little bit of downtime, it feels like, at the moment from commentary. There's the group of 4 that just came through.
Bit of downtime, Ivan, so I'm going to put you on the spot here. You are going to be relinquishing your place behind the microphone tomorrow. So Masters K2 racing, you're going to be on the water. So apart from, I know you're bracing yourself for a tirade of abuse and well-meant jibes, but
I can see a lot of comments coming in personally, but I can roll with that.
tell me the story, because it's a landmark paddle in so many ways.
Yeah, on the water tomorrow with one of the local old-timers from here who's won many World Championship titles in his time, is Lars Koch. We used to compete against each other in the old days, horse and carts, that sort of stuff. And we had so many good quality head-to-head races. I liked the way he raced. He liked the way I raced. And each of those
In
people,
both of you.
internally, I'd like to think we have grown up, but the reality is that we probably haven't. In terms of actual ability, I think he probably outstrips me fairly comfortably, and I'm a little bit behind the curve, to be fair.
So is he the general in the boat? You're taking instructions?
I think anyone who's ever paddled with him has taken instructions. I think that's the rules when you paddle with Lars. I think Lars does the instructions, you do the following. And yeah, so I'm hoping I don't embarrass myself. I don't mind embarrassing myself in front of the crowd or the viewers. And Elliot Craig of Australia. They're across the line while we watch others head up to the top turn on screen. So just trying to give you as much information as we can. Tony Benchop, is that on screen? With 6-2-3, which is Anders Andersson from Sweden.
Screen?
Going around the turn there, 6-4-8.
So Monica Duck and Susanne Lutzner going toe-to-toe like a bunch of prize fighters and really providing a enormously entertaining contest for us here.
More excitement coming down, 40.
Catherine Venning finishing.
Emma Villa across the line there, 3-6-2.
Vadim Lawrence paddling for Team Canada. Giuseppe Fuso in the black boat in the background there. Finishing along with Francisco Vasquez.
They're the two winners in the over 60s.
So Vasquez taking it from Giuseppe Fuso in the end.
Third place across the line now is the other Italian,
Vadim Batenko.
Suspect he's not of Italian origin. He did well because he was dropped quite early on and just stuck with it.
Yeah.
I thought he had everything written over him saying that he would be falling back through that field.
Just
but
bloody
he didn't. Just stuck at it.
Bloody mindedness kept him in that. And here's a sprint coming down to the line. Green boat.
That's Tony Benchop.
63.
Anders Andersson.
Oh, that's also going to be close, but I think Tony's going to have one slightly green nose long enough
Green took it there. It was tight though.
John Dahl of Sweden powering down to the line. Real traffic jam of boats on the far side of the finishing area now.
646 is Fair Petland from Norway.
He's got one of the guys coming through the middle, and that's a wave to ride if you want to.
And 3 more in the...
Elvin Sorley, nearest to us. On the far side is Omar Linares. And somebody's dropped his boat number.
Danish paddler in the middle.
A Danish shirt. That they've just looked beyond that for the good of the game.
Yeah.
And just let those sort of things ride.
Was right, but they were at that stage a long way behind the rest of the world because they're just that separation. And Australia does have that physical separation, but you know they've got their sprinters there. They know the world's smaller now anyway, so it's. But you still got to.
They've got an unbelievable surf lifesaving community that is just spitting out quality paddlers. I mean, they've had some great names come out of their surf lifesaving, like Clint Robinson.
Yeah.
So he's shown that he can do it. But you know, the sort of intent from people like race in the women's 45 to 49. A lot of people watching this who are relative newcomers to the game, inspired and enthusiastic, and just by watching decent paddlers, and you'll see it even more so towards the weekend. I mean, they learn heaps.
You turn up at a lake and you think, oh no, a side wind, a headwind. You know, so many people are destroyed by the idea of a headwind, let alone you know the reality of it. And I think those are things that's part of sport, isn't it? It's managing whatever's thrown at you. You have no control over the weather.
Look at that high hand stroke. At this stage,
did you say fit?
having watched the day's racing, there've been enough low shoulders and super low paddle strokes getting the boat across the last few meters of the race.
The mixed doubles tomorrow. You've got the better half of the commentary team offering his services for the mixed K2.
Knowing the abuse that you will heap at me, I might as well pack my bags and leave the Jutland straight afterwards. Another of the Canadians, Michael Devine, finishing. There's a serious intent amongst the Canadians to develop their marathon racing community. They've got a great tradition in canoe paddling in particular, and they produce some great canoe sprinters. The marathoners, there's a core of them that work out of Kelowna.
Right.
I can hear the sound, I can hear the beat. I can feel the bass, I can feel the heat. I can sing along, I can shout and scream. I can feel it taking over me. Ooh la la la, ooh la la la. Hey, hey, ooh la la la, ooh la la la. Hey, hey, ooh la la la, ooh la la la. Hey, 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 hey. I hear it calling for me. me. I feel the rush from the rhythm. I hear it calling for me.